So let's talk about this right here. 2022 Dodge Charger RT. Yes, this has the 5.7 liter Hemi V8. This is an interesting car. And I want to go over what I like, what I don't like, and just basically kind of show you all the overall car. And yeah, let's get started. Comment below what you think about this car. A lot of people like them, some people don't, but comment below what you think about this car. And let's get started. And yes, here it is, the legendary Hemi V8. This is a 5.7 liter V8 producing 370 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque. And you feel every bit of that. This is basically a big truck engine jammed into a sedan. And this thing feels very hefty. This is not a small vehicle by any means at all. It feels wide, it feels heavy. But the driving dynamic of way they hide that weight is actually really, really good. This thing on the road has a really interesting driving dynamic because you point it, it goes there, but it's such a big, wide, heavy car. And that's why I say they disguised the weight and the heft of this car so very well. It feels like it's on rails. And the Hemi V8, the amount of power that you feel like you're, okay, so let's break it down. Here's what I like, here's what I don't like. I love the driving dynamic. It's point and shoot. It's amazing in that way. The level of power it has, it feels like it's more horsepower than 370. It feels like it's closer to like 425. So it's got a really amazing driving dynamic with the point and shoot and the power. That's what I really like about this car. Now, the things that I don't like, the negatives, the interior quality, and I'll show you in a minute, the interior quality is very cheap. It's just very cheap, very low quality. What I do like about the interior is the infotainment. The screen is clear, the backup camera is not, but the infotainment screen looks very clear, very intuitive. It responds when you touch it. It's amazing. The other thing I don't like about it is the brakes. It feels like it's so much heft and so much car that the brakes, they need to be upgraded. If I were to buy one of these, I would immediately probably change out the wheels and I would change out the brakes. I'd get some, some type of aftermarket brake kit that would put bigger rotors and better brake pads on this, because I'm not riding with the brake pads that are on there. It just doesn't do it for me. And like I said, the interior quality, the plastic, some of these, it's just flat black plastic. There's nothing like, this feels cheap. A lot of just the fit and finish on the interior feels cheap. These cloth seats are not bad. They're very heavily bolstered. I do like that, but just the interior plastics, it feels like if they had just upgraded them just a little, this would be a completely different interior. And I'd probably be saying a lot more positive things about it. Like I said, love the infotainment. The backup camera needs work. But yeah, I do like this interior. I really like the gauge cluster. I like the little honeycomb in the little background. I really like that. The steering wheel, very thick, very hefty. I like the paddle shifters. Do I wish they were a little bit bigger? I do. But still very hefty. You really feel the heft of the car, and you really feel the way it's going to respond when you're turning. And I really like this thick steering wheel a lot. I like the shifter too. I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I'm not a big fan of that shifter, but I do like this one. Of course, this has the 8-speed ZF automatic transmission in it, which is an amazing transmission. But yeah, the interior is cheap. Could I live with it? Yeah, I probably could. This is the cloth. I don't know what the leather feels like. This one has cloth, so I'm not sure what the leather feels like, but I would be curious to kind of ride around in one of those for a day and kind of see. And now this interior, or this rear seat, is a rear seat. Like, there's nothing interesting or particularly dynamic about the rear seat. It's got a armrest right there, pretty basic. It's got 2 USB ports back here, and it's a cloth interior. Not a lot of frills going on back here, but still, it is comfortable. I could ride around in here for a couple of hours and be pretty good, actually. I mean, you can charge your phone, you can just be back here. Yeah, not a lot to the back, but still overall, I say like this would be such a great daily for somebody. Um, I might give one of these. I don't know. I don't know. This is a lot to think about. This trunk is very, very large. I'm not going to get in the shot so you can actually just see all of the trunk. This trunk is very large. You could hold a lot of luggage in this trunk. I really like that about this car. I'm a big fan of the back. I think this looks like a really substantial, basically muscle car sedan. And that's how I can describe it, is a muscle car sedan. I really am enjoying driving this car. Yes, there's a few fit and finish issues. Yes, I'm not a big fan of the brakes, but this car as a daily would be an amazing daily. You'd have the power you want. You'd be able to haul stuff around if you needed to. It can fit 5 people in it. All those things like that really contribute to this car overall being a very, very great car and a great daily if somebody wanted to daily this. Okay, so I'm going to give y'all an exhaust clip. I really like the startup. Obviously, this is not a cold start, but I'm going to give you an exhaust clip of this car. I think the exhaust clip on this thing is really good for stock. So I'm going to leave the mic right here, and I'm going to start it up. Now, I don't know about you, but nothing about that sounded stock. That sounded very aftermarket. And this is a 100% stock vehicle, which, again, I really like that rumble. It's not obnoxious in the cabin. It doesn't drone a whole lot. It does drone a little bit. It doesn't drone a whole lot. It's very live withable because I've been in modified Mustangs that they had exhaust on them and it just droned for days. It was just obnoxious. Once you drove it around for even like an hour, you were ready to be done with it. So I really like that about this car. Would I upgrade the exhaust? Probably eventually I might, just to let it breathe better. But it sounds great right out of the box. Safety first. Always make sure you put your seatbelts on. And y'all kind of see the driving dynamic I'm talking about. It's a very wide, and you can feel the weight of the car, but the way it's disguised. And as you can see, the backup camera, it's very grainy. It looks like technology from about 10 to about 10 years ago. But y'all will get to see a little bit of the driving dynamic of the car. And I will get on the freeway so you can kind of see what that's like. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of the brakes. I know I keep saying that a lot, but that's a weak point where it didn't have to be. Is kind of where I'm at with that. Okay, so we'll get up on the freeway. You can hear the exhaust. And we'll get up on it a little bit. Get up to speed. See, it doesn't drone. It has that a good exhaust note, but it doesn't drone. And I really like that about it. That it doesn't, it's not annoying. It's loud and you can hear it, but it's not overwhelming. It's not obnoxious. That's what I really like about the experience on as far as like inside the cabin. Now outside is probably a lot louder, I would imagine. But we're going to do a little bit on the freeway, and then we'll get off the freeway, and we'll do a little bit more. But yeah, it's the weak point about this the driving dynamic is got to be these brakes. Don't get me wrong, they do the job. They will stop the car, but I feel like they just don't bite enough. I feel like it needs more. They need to bite more. We're gonna get off the freeway right over here. The air is too much. Turn that off because I'm a little bit hot. We're gonna go up here. We're gonna make a little stop. Gonna get up on it. See, you can hear that. I like that. I like that exhaust note. Some people might find it obnoxious. I don't. I actually like it. But y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments below, and if you like that kind of exhaust note or if it just bothers you all the time and you don't like it. So, in conclusion, this would be a great daily for somebody. Negatives, brakes; negatives, interior; positives, steering dynamic, the level of power, the room that it has, and the infotainment. And that's basically how I'm going to wrap this up. So comment below if you like it, comment below if you don't, and I will catch you on the next one.